The marble-floored lobby of Mike's downtown office building gleamed under crystal chandeliers as I waited for the elevator that would take me to his corner suite on the 32nd floor. The building's directory listed Thompson Investment Consulting in elegant gold lettering, a testament to my older brother's reputation as one of the city's most successful financial advisors. Through the floor-to-ceiling windows, I could see the bustling financial district where Mike had built his career managing portfolios for wealthy clients and corporate executives. I adjusted my simple cardigan and checked my watch, knowing I was already 10 minutes late for what Mike had called an urgent family business meeting. At 26, I was the family underachiever who worked as a freelance math tutor while living in a modest studio apartment across town. My beat-up Honda Civic looked pathetic parked next to the Mercedes and BMWs in the building's executive garage. Mike's receptionist, an impeccably dressed woman who clearly recognized me as the disappointing younger sister, escorted me through glass doors into his impressive corner office. The space screamed success. Mahogany furniture, awards covering the walls, and a panoramic view of the city skyline that probably cost more in monthly rent than I made in 6 months. Finally, Mike said without looking up from his computer monitors displaying real-time market data and portfolio performance charts. I've been waiting to discuss some serious concerns about your financial situation and its impact on the family. He gestured for me to sit in the chair across from his massive desk while he finished what appeared to be an important transaction for a client. His expensive suit probably cost more than my monthly rent, and his Rolex caught the afternoon sunlight streaming through the windows. "Lisa, I'm going to be direct because someone needs to have this conversation with you," Mike began, finally turning away from his screens to focus on me with the condescending expression he'd perfected over years of talking down to people about money. "Your lifestyle choices are becoming an embarrassment to the family, and more importantly, they're becoming a financial drain that we can't continue to ignore." I remained silent, accustomed to these lectures about my lack of professional ambition and financial responsibility. What Mike didn't know was that my tutoring work was actually a carefully maintained cover for something much more substantial and legally complex. "Look around this office," Mike continued, standing up to gesture toward his wall of achievements and client testimonials. "This is what real financial success looks like. I manage over $200 million in client assets. I own a penthouse downtown. I drive luxury vehicles. This is the kind of career trajectory you should be pursuing instead of wasting your math degree on tutoring high school students." The irony was so complete I had to suppress a smile. Mike's entire identity was built around managing other people's money while lecturing me about financial irresponsibility. He had no idea that his own financial success was entirely dependent on investment capital that I controlled. "Mom and Dad have been covering your rent shortfalls for 2 years," Mike announced, consulting what appeared to be a detailed financial analysis he'd prepared for this meeting. "Your car repairs, your health insurance gaps, your general living expenses. All of it has been supplemented by family money because your tutoring income isn't sufficient for independent adult living." He pulled out a spreadsheet showing various financial assistance provided to me over the past several years, completely unaware that every dollar had actually come from investment returns generated by my own portfolio management. "The family can't continue subsidizing your refusal to pursue a real career," Mike declared with the authority of someone accustomed to making important financial pronouncements. "It's time for some tough love and accountability measures." My phone buzzed against my leg with a notification from Morgan Stanley's investment management division. I glanced discreetly at the message about quarterly portfolio reviews and felt the familiar irony of Mike's financial lectures. Starting immediately, Mike announced, "No more family financial assistance. No more rent supplements, no more emergency loans, no more safety net for your poor career choices. You need to sink or swim like every other adult in the competitive real world." He leaned back in his executive chair with the satisfaction of someone delivering necessary harsh truths to an ungrateful family member who had been taking advantage of collective generosity for too long. "Quit being a financial burden," Mike shouted, his voice echoing through the corner office with its expensive furnishings and commanding city views. "It's time to grow up and start contributing to the family wealth instead of constantly draining it like some kind of permanent dependent." At that exact moment, my phone rang with a call from Morgan Stanley's portfolio management department. Perfect timing for what I knew would be a routine quarterly business discussion about Mike's investment access requirements. "Excuse me," I said calmly, answering the phone while maintaining direct eye contact with my increasingly agitated brother. This is Lisa Thompson. Ms. Thompson, this is David Chin from Morgan Stanley Portfolio Management. We're conducting our quarterly review of the Michael Thompson investment account, and we need your authorization for his continued portfolio access and withdrawal privileges. I listened to the update while watching Mike's expression shift from anger to confusion as he heard his name mentioned in my business call. I see, I said into the phone. And what's his current portfolio balance requiring authorization? $3.7 million in managed assets, with quarterly access requirements for his business operational funding and personal expense distributions. I looked directly at Mike's increasingly puzzled face and shook my head slowly. I'll need to review the account relationship before approving any continued access, I said calmly. Mike's confident expression began to crack like ice on a frozen pond. Hold on, Mike interrupted, his voice rising with confusion and growing alarm. Why is Morgan Stanley calling you about my investment portfolio? There must be some kind of mistake. Before I could respond, Mike's office door opened and a distinguished man in an expensive suit entered carrying a leather briefcase. Ms. Thompson? I'm James Morrison from Morrison & Associates Financial Planning. I apologize for arriving during your meeting, but we have some urgent documentation regarding the Michael Thompson investment account that requires your immediate signature. Mike stood up abruptly, his chair rolling backward into the window. I'm Michael Thompson. If there are documents about my account, they should be brought to me. James looked genuinely surprised. Mr. Thompson, I assumed you were aware of the account structure. Ms. Lisa Thompson has been the primary account holder and investment manager for your portfolio since 2021. All access and distribution decisions require her authorization. The color drained completely from Mike's face as he processed this information. That's impossible. Those are my investment accounts. I manage my own portfolio. James opened his briefcase and pulled out several official documents. Actually, the accounts are structured as managed investment vehicles under Ms. Thompson's financial advisory license. She's been your portfolio manager for the past 3 years. I watched Mike's world begin to crumble as the reality penetrated his shock. The investment returns that fund your business operations, the quarterly distributions that support your lifestyle, all managed through my advisory firm. This can't be real, Mike whispered, sinking back into his chair. I'm a financial advisor. I manage other people's money. You are a financial advisor, I confirmed. But your own money is managed by me through my investment advisory business. The same business you think doesn't exist because I present it as tutoring work. James consulted his documents. Ms. Thompson's advisory firm manages approximately $47 million in client assets across various high-net-worth individuals and family accounts. Mr. Thompson's portfolio is one of her managed accounts. My phone rang again, this time from the business banking division. Excuse me, I said, answering while Mike listened in growing horror. Ms. Thompson, this is Patricia Walsh from business banking. We need to discuss the Thompson Investment Consulting operational accounts. The quarterly funding transfer requires your approval as the account guarantor. I see, I said, maintaining eye contact with Mike's increasingly panicked expression. And what happens if I don't approve the operational funding transfer? The business accounts would be frozen pending alternative funding arrangements. Payroll, rent, operational expenses, all of it would be suspended until new financing could be secured. I hung up and looked at Mike's stricken face. That was about your business operational funding. The money that keeps Thompson Investment Consulting running. No, Mike said weakly. That's not possible. I have business loans, investor backing, client fee revenue. James pulled out another document. Actually, your business operations are funded through a credit facility guaranteed by Ms. Thompson's investment portfolio. Your office lease, your equipment, your staff salaries, all backed by her financial guarantees. Mike grabbed the documents with shaking hands, scanning the financial details that confirmed his worst nightmare. But I have clients, I manage portfolios, I generate fees. You do, I agreed. But your startup capital, your operational expenses, and your business credit facilities all flow through investment structures that I control. This is absolutely insane, Mike exploded, though his voice lacked its usual authority and cracked with desperation. Even if this paperwork is somehow legitimate, I built my client base through my own expertise in networking. I earned my reputation through successful portfolio management. You did build a successful practice, I acknowledged. But you built it with capital and credit facilities provided by my investment management. Your office lease, your technology systems, your marketing budget, all funded through guarantees I provided. James consulted another folder. We should also discuss the penthouse apartment. The lease is guaranteed through the same investment portfolio, as are the luxury vehicle payments and personal credit facilities. Mike's face went from pale to green. My penthouse? My cars? All financed through credit arrangements that I back financially, I confirmed. Your lifestyle expenses exceed your actual business income by approximately $8,000 monthly. My phone buzzed with a call from Mike's office building management. Ms. Thompson, this is Susan Kim from Executive Property Management. We need to discuss the Thompson Investment Consulting lease payments. The account shows some authorization issues. I put the call on speaker so Mike could hear. What kind of authorization issues? The lease payments are guaranteed through an investment account that's currently under review. We need confirmation of continued financial backing for the lease agreement. Mike looked like he was having trouble breathing. If my office lease gets cancelled, your business operations would cease, I finished. Along with your client relationships, your revenue stream, and your professional reputation. James handed me a comprehensive financial analysis. The portfolio review shows that Mr. Thompson's business has been operating at a net loss for 18 months. Without the supplemental funding from Ms. Thompson's guarantees, the business would have failed. A net loss. Mike's voice was barely a whisper. But the client fees, the management commissions, cover approximately 60% of your operational costs, I explained. The difference comes from investment returns that I generate and credit facilities that I guarantee. Another call came in from Mike's business insurance company. Ms. Thompson, this is Robert Chin from Commercial Insurance Partners. The Thompson Investment Consulting policy renewal requires updated financial backing documentation. Actually, I said, looking at Mike's terrified expression, I think we need to reassess all insurance coverages pending a comprehensive business relationship review. Certainly. All policies will be flagged for review pending new documentation. Mike was frantically scrolling through his phone, probably discovering a series of account holds and payment authorization requests. Lisa, this is impossible. I'm a successful financial advisor. I have clients who trust me with millions of dollars. You are successful, I agreed. But your success is built on a financial foundation that I've been providing for 3 years while you lectured me about being a burden on the family. James prepared to leave with his documents. Ms. Thompson, we'll need your decision on continued account management by tomorrow to avoid triggering the default protection clauses. Default protection clauses? Mike asked frantically. Standard language requiring immediate settlement of all guaranteed obligations if the backing arrangements are terminated, James explained. In this case, approximately $400,000 in immediate payments would be required. Mike's hands were shaking as he realized the full extent of his financial dependence. Lisa, please. We can work this out. I'm sorry for what I said earlier. Sorry for calling me a financial burden? I asked. Or sorry that you discovered you're the one living off my investments? I studied Mike's desperate face and felt a complex mixture of satisfaction and genuine sadness. For 3 years, I had quietly provided the financial foundation that allowed his business to flourish while he built his identity around lecturing me about financial responsibility. Today, that carefully hidden relationship had been exposed in the most dramatic way possible. Here's what's going to happen, I announced, my voice remaining calm and professional despite the emotional weight of the moment. Your investment account management will continue, but with modified terms. Your quarterly distributions decrease from $30,000 to $18,000, and all business operational funding requires advance approval. $18,000? Mike's voice cracked. That won't cover my current overhead and lifestyle expenses. Then you'll need to reduce your expenses or increase your actual business revenue, I replied matter-of-factly. The same advice you've been giving me about living within my means. James handed me a revised account management agreement. I'll also be implementing monthly business performance reviews and requiring detailed financial reporting for all guaranteed obligations. You're micromanaging my business, Mike protested weakly. I'm protecting my investment, I corrected. The same way any portfolio manager would monitor underperforming assets. What about my clients? My reputation in the financial community will continue as long as you maintain professional standards and generate positive returns on the capital I provide, I informed him. Poor performance or continued hostile behavior toward your primary investor could result in funding termination. James prepared the final documentation. These new terms take effect immediately. All existing credit facilities will continue under the revised structure with enhanced oversight requirements. Mike stared at the account modification papers that would officially acknowledge what had been true for years. His financial success depended entirely on his sister's investment management and capital provision. One more thing, I added as James prepared to leave. The financial burden you've been complaining about? Starting next month, you'll be paying standard portfolio management fees, 2.5% annually on assets under management. That's approximately $7,500 monthly for my professional services. Mike's pen trembled as he signed the documents. Lisa, I had no idea about your actual business. I genuinely thought you were struggling financially. I was struggling, I replied. Struggling to understand why someone whose entire business depends on my investment capital spent 3 years telling me I was a financial drain on the family. As James gathered the signed agreements, Mike's office phone started ringing with calls from clients, vendors, and business partners who had apparently received notifications about account restructuring and new authorization requirements. The brother who told me to stop living off the family, I said, standing to leave his corner office, just discovered that he's been living off my investment portfolio for 3 years.